I'm about to show you how to generate endless amount of content ideas with a custom AI workflow and how to integrate the same workflow within your business. The system won't give you just copy paste ideas, but will make all the ideas completely tailored to you. In this way, you can create content that makes you stand out, grow your social media following, and ultimately make more sales. So with that said, let's get started. So here's a flowchart of the system that we are going to create. The idea here is to use calls to generate ideas. Why calls? The idea is everyone is using calls, and during those calls, there's a lot of different communication that is happening, either with clients, with prospects, with potential partners. So there's a lot of things that can be said during those calls that can act as potential ideas for content. Plus, those are specific topics that are actually unique to you. So that is also the advantage on that. So the idea is the following. We start off with the actual call itself. And when the call is finished, we get a call transcript using Fireflies. If you don't know Fireflies, this is this tool over here that is able to automate meeting notes, transcribe those, summarize, and do all this sort of stuff. But our main goal is to use our own prompts when it comes to the summary that the Fireflies creates. So here we use a specific ChatGPT prompt to generate ideas. We will need to have a way of sending those ideas in a specific way. So we will use Slack for that. And then finally, we have some interactivity within Slack so that if we choose to add an idea to our content workflow, we can do that directly within Slack. So that is the structure, and then right now we'll start with the actual build out within make.com, which is the automation tool of choice that we use for most of these projects. By the way, the complete system is available completely for free down here in the first link. So if you'd like to implement that, you can plug and play that and implement that pretty much immediately. First step is this part. When a call is finished, we get the call transcript. In order to get the call transcript, we will need to use a functionality from Fireflies AI for webhooks. Webhooks basically are a way of sending data once an event is happening. And in Fireflies, we can send a webhook when a transcription is completed. So what will happen is that the call will finish, Fireflies will finish transcribing the call, and then the webhook will be fired, and we will use that as a trigger for our automation. And also here in the documentation for Fireflies, they show you what is an example of the data that you receive as a payload. So we can use that as an example, and we can create a mock webhook that we can use and we can test out. So here, what we will do is we will start out with a webhook, which is a custom webhook for Fireflies. So we'll call Fireflies transcription processed. We copy the address here, and then we will paste the address over here into the webhooks for Fireflies and save that. So in this way, what is happening right now is that when a call is finished, we will receive a webhook. Now we don't have the possibility to test live data, and we will test previous data that I have. So in order to do that, what we will do is we will use Postman, and Postman basically is a way of executing different API calls for testing purposes. So in this way, we can actually see if a webhook is working or not. So in this instance, what we will do is we will change the webhook over here, and we can test out if this works or not right now. So we will run this and then see if the data is working correctly over here. So as you can see here, we have different kinds of data, such as meeting ID, event type, and client reference, exactly the ones that are mentioned within the Fireflies documentation. Now, the next step over here is to go to Fireflies and get the actual transcript. In order to get the transcript, what we'll need to do is we will need to provide a transcript ID, which is this meeting ID over here. So right now we can get the transcript. Is I copied the meeting ID of one of my previous meetings, so in that way we can actually get some data out of this. So if we run this again and we will send to see if the data is working, this actually works and we get a transcript ID, the title of the call, as well as different things. But the most important thing for us is this part related to the sentences. So the sentences are all the sentences that have been said during the calls and what we will use within a ChatGPT prompt to generate our ideas. So first off, what we need to do over here is we will need to transform the sentences into JSON. And the reason for doing that is that we cannot use the sentences in normal format in a ChatGPT prompt. So that is why we do that. And now we will also run this again to make sure that everything is working correctly. So this is the actual format that we have over here. And then right now we will use ChatGPT to create a prompt. We merge both the prompts over here into a single user one, and this composed of a couple different steps. So first off, there's the role part. So act as a world-class content generation specialist who's masterful at extracting potential insights out of calls. Then we have a task. So the task outlines what are the different things that they need to do by using the data. So here is clearly analyze the call and get an understanding of what's the main topic, analyze different questions that are asked and think about how those questions can be turned into content ideas, output 5 content ideas, give a brief overview and why you choose those as ideas. On top of that, what I added here is I added some context. This needs to be changed based on your specific needs and your specific business. Here I put this related to mine. So all the conversation are between me and either a client, a prospect, or a potential partner. And then we have two other additional parts, which are the specifics. So specifics are related to what are the kind of content ideas that I would like to focus on. So here I gave 3 examples of content ideas. And then finally, we have the format. And in the format, we will use JSON, and you will see why in a couple seconds. So here, what I will need to do then is just put the new code transcription, the one that we created, and then we can go forward and test this out. So max tokens, we put 0, so because we don't want to be limited. And here we just rename this to get content ideas. And now we will run that and see what is the result looking like. We got a final result over here. So if we go into the result and if you look at that, we can see that everything is formatted in the way that we wanted. So everything is formatted with JSON and we have all the JSON present over here. Now, what we will need to do is we will need to parse the JSON that we have over here. So in order to do that, we select the JSON module, and this is the JSON module that we have over here. And what we'll need to do is we will need first off to replace these brackets, these brackets in the results with nothing. So in this way, we actually remove those brackets from the response, and then we also would like to replace JSON as a name, so that the JSON string is actually valid. What we did here is we created a conditional that takes care of problems that we might have with the output here, so that right now this is actually fixed. And what we have right now is we have a list of ideas. Now, what we need to do next is we need to send those ideas within Slack. So what we will do right now is we will iterate on ideas, and then we will create a Slack message for each of the ideas. So in this way, we can actually create a message for the ideas that we have. We will use a private channel. So we will use a testing channel. And if I'm not finding, yeah, this is the testing channel. And so we will use the formatting that Slack is generally using. So content idea, and then we will put the actual idea, and then quick overview. And finally, we will put the why this idea. Okay, everything worked here in the setup. If we go over here, you will see that there are a lot of different blocks over here that show what was happening over here. So as you can see here, we have the content idea, and then we mentioned the content idea. We have an overview, and then we have a why this idea. Now, I think this can be definitely improved because, like here, we just added a couple of new lines for that, but this is a start of what you can have after a call, directly after a call. So yeah, that's just an example. Now, what we will do is we will improve that so that the quality of the messages that we get, it's interactive and can be used to add ideas to the content workflow. So in order to do that, what we will use is we will use Slack block kit builder, and this is a feature of Slack that is quite advanced to actually create specific blocks and to modify those blocks how we want to. So let's create a block right now, and then I will explain you what is how can we add the block within the actual system itself. What I did here is I created a block to display the information in a better way. So in this way, what we can do is we can make this interactive and we can add the ideas to the content workflow using a button. So what we will do right now is we will take this block and then we will copy this block over here. Now, there are a couple of things that we need to change. So first off, we will need to change the formatting that Slack is using over here. So let's copy paste this once again. So let's add that. And then what we will need to add is we will need to add the various variables that we created over here. And so in this way, we will we will have different ideas displayed in different ways that we can act upon immediately here. By using the content blocks, as you can see here, we have different ways of looking at the information, which is way more clean compared to the one that we have. And we also have a button that we can use for all the various messages. So if, for example, we have a specific idea that we want to add to our system, what we can do is we can click this button, and once this button is clicked, we can automatically get that idea and work on that idea. What we did in order to create the interaction functionality is the following. First off, we need to add a URL over here, and as a URL, what we will add is we will add another scenario that we use in make.com to trigger this specific functionality. In order to do that, we have to do some workarounds here because we need a very important information, which is the timestamp, in order to get the value of the value of the block and what is present within that specific block. So what we did over here is something very simple. We create a message. So we created the message as an empty message in the testing environment, and then what we did is we updated the message. And the idea of updating the message is simply so that we can have the timestamp and we can use the timestamp later on to get the actual message over here. Now, this is the technical part, and I will show you what is the result looking like. But basically, in this functionality here, we will have a output, and the output that we will have is the message timestamp that we will use to get the actual message. So here, what we can do is we can get a private channel message. So we can select our private channel. So we use a testing, and then here we will use we will use a variable within the URL, so the timestamp, and add that over here. So in this way, we actually get the get content message. So this way we will actually get the message, and let me show you how this actually works. So here, as you can see, we have the timestamp, and since we have the timestamp, we can get the information within the message. When we are getting the information within the message, all is needed then is formatting the information and then adding this information into our content ecosystem, which for us is Airtable, but you can use whatever system you want. Our goal now is to divide this information that we have present within a block like the following into the different bits. So for example, we just want the content idea, we want the quick overview, and then we want why this idea separated in different parts. So in order to separate those, what we will use is we will use regex, which is a regular expression. In order to create a regular expression, what we will use is ChatGPT. So what we will do is act as a regex expert. Please create a regex that helps me extract content idea, quick overview, and why this idea, quick overview, and why this idea from the following text. So now we have this code over here, which we will try over here and see how this actually works. So let's take the results that we got from here. So in this way, as you can see, we have the different formats. So here we have group 1, group 2, and group 3. Everything is grouped in the exact way as we wish. So we can get this and test it out directly over here also. So what we will do is we will first off set variables to test this. So text example, and then we will use a text parser so to match a pattern over here, and the pattern is the one that we created with ChatGPT. So text example is the following, and then we will take this one over here and see what is the output looking like over here, so that if the output is good, we can definitely use that. So as you can see here, the output is exactly the one that we want, and so here we rename this to get get content. And so what we'll do is we will remove this, add this over here, add the text part. Then since we have the text, we can add the Airtable module to create a record. What we finally did here is we added the create content idea, so the idea title, content overview, and notepad to the system. And right now we can actually test this out and see how this works. So we can just click on run. So we will test this out and then select one of the content workflows. So for example, select this one. And another thing that I added over here is this auto close window to automatically close the window, as you saw right now. And it seemed to have the content created. So if we go over here, if we go to content ideas and testing, as you can see here, the content was created. Probably there's a little bit of a formatting problem over here, but nothing major and something we can fix. We can fix pretty easily over here in the setup. So with that said, that's everything on this side. As you saw, we are able to create a very interesting system that automatically output content and also plugs in into the initial part of your content creation efforts. If you are using any kind of content system, here I use Airtable, but you can use whatever you want. And yeah, the system is can be modified and can be upgraded over time. So what you can do is you can also add additional pieces of the system. You can change the AI model and a bunch of stuff and a bunch of stuff. I remember if you want to download the template, you will find the complete template down here in the description. So you can download that and play around and implement that into your business. With that said, hope that's everything. Hope you got some value out of that and have a nice day. Bye bye.